Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. This is Kevin, also known as Seto Kaiba, and I'm coming to you today from my bedroom. My girlfriend is recording this, so if she makes me laugh or the camera's shaking, that's because of her, and you can blame her and don't blame me. I love her though. Mwah. So, today I'm going to be talking about the speed of the game and how much it's changed from originally how Yu-Gi-Oh started out. Now, if you played as long as I have, you remember that it was a slow game back in the day, and how much has changed so drastically in the last couple of formats, I would say. It's taken over time, it's taken a couple formats, but it's so much faster, it's so much more based. It's not having that big monster, it's able to stop your opponent's moves and run over your opponent now. And some decks do this better than others, and I would say decks from the last 3 years are usually the good decks to be able to do this nowadays. And there's so much searchability in the game now. For example, Golden Sarcophagus back in the day, remember old Golden Sarcophagus? You know, mostly it's known as the Exodia Finder, find pieces for Exodia, but people forget that this card is the original searcher for most decks back in the day. Yes, Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest were too, but since those are gone, this is the last card remaining. Old Golden Sarcophagus. Reinforcement of the Army, another old searcher that's been around forever. You know, this is a staple in any warrior deck nowadays. You know, I remember how hard that card was to find back in the day, and now it's a common. And then you have searchers just as monsters now. You have, like, for example, Snow for Dark Worlds. And you have Rabbit, you know, quick exceeds monsters, but we'll get to that later. It's just searchers in the game now. You need a deck that searches very well. My Gravekeepers search well. Think about it. You have Recruiter, you have Spy. You can do all the different combinations you want to, but they revolve around searching. And then they can reuse their searchers by using Gravekeeper Steely. Searching is a key to any deck that wants to compete very well in the game, these formats coming up, and this format especially. You want to search, and any deck that can mess up with your graveyard or mess with your hand is going to do good. That's why you always see decks such as Necro Valley. You know, good old Necro Valley is not going to go away anytime soon because it messes with your graveyard. It stops people from using BLS if they get a light and dark monster in their field, in their graveyard, because they can't banish from the graveyard. Dark Worlds, you can play with your opponent's hand. Those type of decks are not going to go away because in any meta, I can see for the near future, those are going to be rogue decks that are going to do good, and I like those type of decks. But back to searching and searchability, we'll talk about format on a different video. Searching in a deck is key. Golden Sarcophagus and Rhoda are just examples of old searchers, and you have Snow. It's changed now to more monster based, I would say. You still got your stuff like She and Smoke Signal and all that, which makes Six Samurais look like they're on crack now, even with Gate, which is a continuous Rhoda, its second effect. You know, you get Gate out, you better win. Unless you're top decking it and you have nothing else in your hand. And the fact that Six Samurais also have Lily, it's a form of Pot of Greed. I special summon, I normal summon, I get to draw 2 cards. Whatever. The game has gotten so fast. With the ability to draw and search in any deck, such as Dark Worlds, that's just an amazing combination. Now, Dark Worlds do get shitty hands once in a while, but it's still good. I'm just talking about for decks in general. The reason I'm talking about Dark Worlds, Gravekeepers, and Six Samurais mostly is because those are the decks that are relevant nowadays, and the decks that I'm familiar with, so please respect that and whatever. But there are ways to stop all this searching and special summoning. For example, we have Rescue Rabbit and Tour Buses now. Tour Bus, this thing used to be at $300. It's now $8 card. It's made specifically, Rabbit and Tour Bus are made specifically for exceed purposes, for no other reason but that. And so we're able to quickly search our decks nowadays. We're able to thin them out. Back then, that was just a dream. You could do that. You grabbed in a card like Rhoda, that could change the game. Now, it's standard. It helps, yes, but it searches, it thins your deck out. Now, there's ways to combat these great things that can search and find those cards you need. Sangan's gone, yes, but there's still a lot of his leftovers from back in the day. And such things to stop these big monsters we have is Mirror Forces at 2, Torrential Tribune we have still, compulsory, yes I say compulsory evacuation device. This is standard in any deck nowadays because you need to get rid of your synchros, you need to get rid of your seeds. Just standard crazy stuff. Fiendish Chain works in a pinch. I said dual Mirror Forces now. Whoever thought Mirror Force was going to be at 2 back in the day? Torrential Tribune. Swarms, because decks that swarm now. Book of Moon, staple. Dark Hole, it's Dark Hole, gets rid of your entire monsters. And then decks that recycle are very good. Madolches do this. Gravekeepers do that with Steely. Gravekeepers Steel. Madolches do it very well. They're literally built around recycling. But decks that do this, decks that can recycle their cards that go to the graveyard, decks that can draw, decks that can search well, are decks that are going to be good. And it's changed so much from the past, where you used to just have big monsters and you're fighting off each other. You try to get those fusions out, you're trying to synchro, and your deck is usually based around synchroing, mostly, in low-level monsters. Now it's just whoever can get that big monster out first and run each other over, whoever can search quickly, get what they need, get out in the field. That first turn is so crucial nowadays, more than I think it ever used to be. And I'm talking about the last 2 to 3 formats especially. But it's more based on whoever gets that first turn. It's so crucial. You get first turn, you get the ability to, the possibilities to just, your opponents can't do nothing. You set the play of the field. Unless they got a Heavy Storm and a Dark Hole in their hand and just can completely wipe the field clean and just they lay their own stuff out. First turn is so important now, and it just can do so much. But that's my rant. That's what I just decided to talk about. Tell you pretty much how much the game has changed since back in the day, where search ability was just, it was literally your draw power. And now searchability has become a big thing. And decks that can search and pretty much draw power, and get decent draw power and good draw power, are very relevant. And yes, this is my fedora. This is my dueling hat I wear when I duel. Decks just, the game has gotten so fast nowadays. It's amazing. And it's going to continue to get fast. Konami's going to continue to make it fast, so we have to adapt to decks that are cheap. And I would say, if you got the money, go buy the newest improved deck. But they're all going to get hit eventually. But decks that, it's going to get faster. The game is going to get faster. I don't foresee it slowing down. And if we're going to compete, we got to try to start with these new decks that are coming out. Not the ones that right now. I would suggest cheap decks, which I'll talk about later probably. Good decks, I say Dark World for this format if you want to do it. Gravekeepers, because they mess with the meta anytime. 6 Samurais, if you can find a structured deck, go for it. There's a lot of good, cheap, okay decks that are under the Madolches, I think, are a good deck to build. It's just, you don't need to build that newest and greatest deck. As long as it has searchability and draw power. And it's also, if it's a bonus that it can recycle, great. Get big seas monsters out, great. You're good to go. Go duel. So that's all I'm going to talk about today. Just pretty much we'll call this searching and how much faster the game's got. So thank you all and good day.